so finding a comfortable seat, go ahead and bring your fingertips to either side of your legs and press your fingers into the earth a little bit while you lift and extend through the crown of your head. So try to release your shoulders down while lengthening through the back of your neck. And if it feels comfortable to allow your eyes to close, you can do so, or just taking a soft gaze in front of you on the floor. And you can release your hands. You can have your hands on your legs if that's comfortable for you. Just again, trying to actively release tension from the shoulders and lengthen through the spine. You might roll your shoulders up to your ears on an inhale. And as you exhale, roll them down your back, continuing to lengthen through the back of the neck. Begin to bring your awareness to your breath. So just observing the rise and fall of your chest, the sensation of air moving through your mouth, your nostrils. And imagine a softening through your forehead and your temples. Through your eyes and your jaw. So unhinge your jaw, allow your mouth to open slightly if it's not already. You might bring a slight smile to your lips, not in a weird way, but just a slight opening, a slight smile, upward lifting of the corners of the mouth. Continuing to lengthen through the spine, lifting the crown of your head towards the sky, releasing your shoulders away from your ears. And if you have tension in your shoulders now, as many of us do, bring your awareness to that area. And imagine a softening or a melting away of that tension, almost like snow melting down your shoulders, melting away any tension or anxiety that has taken up residence in your shoulders and neck. Imagining ice turning to water, water turning to vapor, allowing your arms to feel light. And imagining a softening all the way down your back body, along your spine. Bringing your awareness to your torso, softening through the chest and belly. With each breath, allowing your belly to grow a little bit softer. Noticing if you're holding tension in that area as well. That's an area that we tend to also hold on to tension, but not always know it. So releasing tension from the abdomen. Softening through the arms and legs. Feeling the connection of your body with your mat. And continuing to lift the crown of the head towards the sky. Softening again through the forehead, the temples and jaw in case any tension crept back in over the last few moments. Then we're going to do a 3-part breath here. So bring one hand to your stomach, your belly area, and one hand to your chest. Doesn't matter which one, whatever's most comfortable. And just breathe normally. And as you breathe, begin to notice the sensation of breath through your belly. So the hand on your belly, you might feel it lift slightly on an inhale. And then lowering a little bit on an exhale, contracting. So that's the first part. So bringing your awareness to that area and then actively allowing your breath to move through your belly and pressing your belly into your hand. And then the next time you inhale, notice the belly lift and then notice the breath as it comes in through your chest area. So like the rib cage area. And then as you release the breath, allow the rib cage to sort of contract and belly next. And then the next time you inhale, feel your breath in your belly, the rib cage, and then all the way up through your heart and into the collarbone area. This is the third part. And as you exhale, starting with the collarbone area, the heart space, and then ribs, and then belly contracting. So then the full 3-part breath on an inhale, belly, rib cage, heart, collarbone area. Exhaling, heart space, rib cage, belly. Do this a few more times with your own breath cycle. Keeping your awareness on those 3 areas, belly, rib cage, heart space. As you inhale and exhale. This is a very calming type of breath. Pranayama, very good for stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system, which signals to the body that it can relax, that it's safe. We know that there is a lot that continues to be going on in the world right now, and it's easy to allow that tension to just be stored in our bodies. In addition to all the things we all deal with in our daily lives, there's so much going on in the bigger picture. And holding on to this tension and stress doesn't serve us. This kind of breathing can help us to release some of that and relax a little bit so that we can be more present in our lives and more available to take action if action is needed, or whether that's in our own lives or something going on in the world. Do 2 more rounds of this 3-part breath on your own. And when you're done, you can return to a normal breath. And then I'd like you to think of just one thing that you're grateful for right now. And if you'd like to dedicate your practice to that one thing, you can do so, or if there's something else that you'd like to focus on in terms of an intention or goal for your practice, you can bring that to mind as well. Gratitude in particular has been shown to help improve positivity, optimism in our own lives and our own minds. And then releasing your arms as you're ready, opening your eyes if they were closed. And on your next inhale, sweep your arms overhead, Allow your palms to meet, lift your gaze, and as you exhale, draw your hands down in front of your heart center, coming into Anjali Mudra. Do this again, inhaling, sweeping your arms overhead, lifting your gaze, exhaling, hands in front of your heart. And then again, inhaling, arms come up, gaze lifts. This time as you exhale, allow your hands to come down in front of you. So we're coming into a bit of a forward fold here. It doesn't have to be very low. So it just depends on how open your hips are right now. Your fingertips might be tented. You might be just slightly leaning forward. Or if you're very open and flexible today, you might come down, drawing your head closer to the floor. So just do what feels right in your body. Don't do something that causes strain. Take a couple of breaths here. You can let your head hang. And then on your next inhale, go ahead and walk your hands closer to your body and lift up. Bring your hands behind your hips and then extend your legs. So have your knees bent in front of you and then allow your knees to tick-tock from side to side. Opening up the hips a little bit. You might feel some sensation in your glutes. This can be a slow movement. Knees bending, falling to one side and then the other. And then once you've done both sides again, go ahead and come back up to a seat. And if you were sitting cross-legged before, go ahead and take the opposite cross of your legs. So it's probably like the more awkward way that you would sit. And then once you're there, on an inhale, sweep your arms overhead again, lifting your gaze. Exhale, hands to heart, Anjali Mudra. Inhaling, sweeping the arms overhead again. Exhale, hands to heart. And then one more time, inhaling, hands reach up towards the sky. And then this time as you exhale, come forward again. Allow your hands to come down to the earth in front of you. Coming into forward fold again. And, again, just noticing if there's tension or strain here. So trying to avoid that. So you might be more lifted with your fingers tented, or your forehead might be closer to the floor. You also might find that this side is different than the other one based on how open each hip is. And again, you can let your head hang. Couple of breaths here. With an inhale, walk your hands back up. Bring your hands behind you again. We're going to do that same knee side to side movement. So bending your knees, feet are in front of you, and then tick-tock your knees from side to side a couple of times. The next time your knees come down to the right, we're going to take a twist, and I'm going to be mirroring you here. So your left knee might be coming up into the sole of your right foot. And then from here, so you might have your right hand a little bit behind you. Bring your left hand around to cross your body and rest on your opposite thigh. On an inhale, lengthen through the crown of your head. And as you exhale, begin to twist to the right. So you might be using your left hand for leverage to press gently. You might move your right hand a little bit more behind you. So just seeing what feels good in your body here. Taking a nice twist, but not forcing it. On an inhale, coming back to center. We're going to get ready for the other side. So lifting your knees up and then allowing them to fall to the left. Again, your knee might be tucked into the sole of your left foot. Left hand behind you, right hand crosses to your opposite thigh, inhaling, lifting through the crown of the head, and then exhaling, twisting. As much or as little as you want and as feels good in your body. Trying to maintain a deeper belly breath here, even though your belly is twisted. And with an inhale, coming back to center. And then from here, we're going to take a variation of Supta Baddha Konasana. So you're going to allow your feet to come together, and then the soles of the feet come together. So your knees are going to begin to open up to the outer edges of your mat. You can bring your hands to the tops of your shins here to give yourself a little bit of support. And we're going to do a variation of cat-cow here, which is going to give us some flexion and extension in our spine. So on an inhale, so my hands are holding on to my shins, soles of my feet are together. On an inhale, begin to lift through the chest, lift through the heart, lift your gaze, tilting your gaze up a little bit. And then as you exhale, round through your shoulders, begin to tuck your chin towards your chest, scoop your tailbone a little bit, lean back. With an inhale, begin to lift through your heart, through your gaze. Tailbone is lifting a little bit, and then as you exhale, round through your shoulders, scooping the tailbone, tucking the chin. Do this a couple more times with your own breath. This doesn't have to be super exaggerated, so just do what feels good, what feels right in your body. We're just warming up the spine. And then the next time you come up, go ahead and take cross-legged one more time. And then we're gonna take eagle arms here to get a shoulder stretch. So to get into eagle arms, you're going to take I'm not gonna mirror you here because it gets too confusing, but I'm taking my right elbow underneath my left. My elbows are bent, and either the backs of your hands can come together, so your arms are in front of your face, or the palms of your hand can come together, just depending on how open you are. So wherever you are is all good. If that's too much for you, you can always give yourself a hug if it's too much for the shoulders today. Otherwise, your hands are in front of you, clasping, or backs of the palms are together, and then begin to lift your shoulders towards the sky a little bit. So keeping length in the back of the neck. And then we'll do the cat-cow variation here as well. So on an inhale, begin to lift your chest, your elbows go up a little bit more towards the sky, your gaze lifts. And then as you exhale, round through your shoulders, tuck your chin, allow your elbows to come down towards your belly. Inhaling, lifting up again, elbows lift up, gaze is lifting. Exhaling, drawing your elbows in towards your chest. If you prefer to just stay static here and not do this opening and closing, then that's fine too. The point being that the more that you press your elbows actively away from you and up, the more of a stretch you're going to feel in your shoulders. The next time you come up, go ahead and sweep your arms overhead, and then you're going to take the opposite cross. So your left elbow is coming under your right elbow. Palms of the hand are touching, or backs of the hands, or you're giving yourself a big bear hug. If you're doing the bear hug version, elbows are still lifting, gaze is lifting. So you can begin that same flow, that cat-cow variation with the spine, inhaling, lifting the elbows, the gaze, the chest. Exhaling, rounding through the shoulders, drawing the elbows towards you. Or you can stay static, just pressing the elbows up and away from you. Do a couple more breaths wherever you are. And then on your next inhale, you're going to release your arms, sweep your arms overhead, sit tall, allow your hands to meet, and then exhale them down in front of your heart, Anjali Mudra, remembering whatever it was that you identified that you're grateful for, that one thing today. And then from here, we're going to move into a tabletop position. So we'll just do a couple of cat-cows here, just a standard cat-cow in your tabletop with your knees stacked underneath your hips, your wrists are underneath your shoulders, and your legs are about hips distance apart. On an inhale, dropping your belly, lifting your gaze in your chest. Exhaling, pressing your mat away from you, rounding through the shoulders, scooping the tailbone. And if you'd like to take a little bit more of a variation here, since we've already been doing a lot of this motion, you can try a barrel roll. So as you inhale, you might move your torso to one direction, and then as you exhale, rounding through your shoulders, moving in the other direction. And that doesn't have to be like a perfect thing. So you can just figure out what movement feels good to you. Getting into the hips a little bit more, maybe pressing yourself back a little bit. So let this be fluid. And allow yourself to listen to what your body might be wanting right now. And then make your way back to center. Find a just your regular sort of tabletop position here. We're going to come into thread the needle. Another great stretch for the shoulders. So bringing your weight into your left hand on an inhale, sweep your right fingertips up to the sky. Give yourself the opportunity to take a couple of wrist circles here. And then with an inhale, reach your fingertips a little higher. And then as you exhale, thread your right hand underneath your left forearm. So you're coming all the way down to the back of your right arm. And then options for the left hand could be that you walk your fingertips up towards the top of your mat, maybe tenting your fingers. Or you can take a half bind, sweeping your left hand behind your low back, tucking your fingers into your right hip crease. You might try to shift your hips back a little bit here. And the more you press your right arm into the floor, the more of a stretch you might feel in your shoulder. So you can control that. Remembering to breathe deeply, feeling your breath in your belly. Then bringing your left hand back in front of your face, pressing into that hand on an inhale, sweeping your right hand high. And then exhaling back down into table. We'll get ready for the second side, bringing your weight into your right hand. Inhaling, sending the left fingertips high. Take a couple of wrist circles here. Inhale the fingertips a little bit higher, and then exhale, thread your left hand underneath your right arm. Again, right fingertips can crawl up to the top of your mat, or you can sweep your right hand back behind you, tucking your fingers into your left hip crease for a half bind. Shifting your hips back a little bit, pressing into your left arm, and breathe. And begin to draw your right hand back in front of your face. Press into your hand, sweep your left fingertips high, open up, and then exhale back into a table. From here, we're going to make our way onto our shins. So just coming up, lifting up our hands off the earth, and then sweep your arms overhead. Reach your fingertips high. So I'm standing on my shins here. And then as you exhale, bring your hands behind you to your low back. Fingertips are pointed down, elbows are drawing towards each other. We're in a camel variation. So my gaze is up. Front of my throat is open. I'm pressing my hips forward a little bit. My glutes are engaged. Try not to crunch the back of your neck too much here. Couple of breaths. Nice. And then with an inhale, sweep your arms overhead again. Exhale, your hands in front of your heart in Anjali Mudra. And then bring your hands to your hips. So we're going to come into gate. I'm going to face you here. So again, you're standing up on your shins. Your hands are on your hips to start. And then go ahead and take your right leg out to the side. So your right toes are pointed towards the top of your mat. Hands are still on the hips for the moment. On an inhale, sweep your left fingertips high, lengthening through the crown of the head. And then as you exhale, begin to bend to the right. So you can leave your right hand on your hip here, or you can allow it to slide down your leg, resting anywhere but on your knee joint. A couple of breaths here, getting a little bit of a side bend. You might rotate your heart towards the sky a little bit. And then with an inhale, bring your hand back up. And then allow your left hand to come all the way down to the other side. So now my left hand is down and then my right fingertips are reaching up towards the sky. My right leg is still extended. We're in a variation of side plank. And then allow your right elbow to bend. Take your right hand behind the base of your skull. And then with an inhale, you're going to draw your elbow towards the sky, opening through your chest and heart. And then as you exhale, lower your gaze and your elbow towards your mat. Everything else is staying where it was. Inhaling, lifting your gaze and elbow towards the sky and heart. Exhaling, sort of closing back in. Inhaling back up. Exhaling down. And then one more time here. And then exhale down. This time, release your hand from behind your head. Walk your hands in front of you. Draw your right knee back underneath you so that you're in a tabletop again. And then from here, make your way into a plank position. So stretch one leg out behind you and then the other. Your hands are strong. Fingers are spread here. Core is engaged. Couple of breaths here, getting a little bit of core. And then bend your knees a little bit, press into your hands, press your way back to downward facing dog. So knees can be very bent for this first down dog. We're aiming to get into our shoulders to find length in our spine. You can shake your head, no, or nod it yes. Whatever feels good here. You might pedal out the feet a little bit, alternately bending and straightening your knees. On an inhale, lift your heels, make your way back towards plank, keep your core engaged. And then as you exhale, bend your knees, press into your hands, press back to downward facing dog. Knees can still be bent if you want. Inhale, lift the heels, head towards plank, strong core. Exhale, bend your knees, press into your hands, downward facing dog. We'll do a couple more like that with your own breath. Just a plank downward dog flow. Flowing with your breath. And then making your way into a child's pose. So having your knees wide towards the outer edges of your mat. Sit your hips back, keeping your hands in front of you. Your arms extended, lowering your head to your mat.
Take a couple of breaths here. And know that you can always come down to this pose at any time during this practice if this feels restful to you. A couple more breaths here. And begin to lift your head and walk your hands towards you and make your way into a tabletop position again. And then from here, go ahead and come up onto your shins. Inhale, reach your fingertips high overhead. Exhale, sweep your hands around and behind you, bringing your hands to your low back again for a camel variation. Fingertips are pointed down, elbows are drawing towards each other. Hips might be pressing forward a little bit, gaze and heart are lifted. And breathe. Glutes are engaged just a little bit. Nice, and then on an inhale, come back up, sweep the arms overhead. Allow your hands to meet, exhale them down in front of your heart. Then bring your hands to your hips and we'll get ready for gate on the second side. So taking your left leg out to the side, left toes are pointed towards the front of your mat. Hands are on the hips. Inhale your right fingertips high, lift through the crown of the head, and then exhale, side bend to the left. You can allow your left hand to slide down your leg if you'd like. Again, maybe trying to rotate your torso towards the sky just a little. Finding your breath. And then on an inhale, rise up, allow your right hand to come down to the other side, so to the right side, pressing into that hand, sweeping your left fingertips overhead. So your arms are in a straight line here. We're in a side plank variation, legs are the same. And then allow your left elbow to bend, taking your left hand behind the base of your skull. And with an inhale, lift your torso, your heart, your elbow, and gaze towards the sky. And as you exhale, draw your gaze and elbow towards the floor. Inhaling, opening back up. Exhale, closing in. Inhaling up again, you might be feeling sensation in your shoulders. Exhaling down. Continue a couple more rounds with your own breath. You might feel sensation along the entire length of your left side body. The next time you exhale, release your hand down, your left hand. Then walk your hands back in front of you, draw your left knee underneath you back to table. And then from here, we're gonna take puppy pose. So hips stay where they are, and the hands walk out towards the top of your mat. You can come down onto your forearms if you'd like. Otherwise, your hands are pressing into the earth, your head is coming down towards your mat. Your hips are in the same position as when you're in table. Noticing where you're feeling sensation here. I feel a lot going on in my shoulders. And then with an inhale, lift your gaze a little bit. Deliberately come down onto your forearms if they weren't already on the mat. And then come all the way down onto your belly. So we're making our way into Sphinx pose. So your forearms are parallel, your elbows are underneath your shoulders or maybe slightly ahead of them. Your palm of your hands are down on the earth. And then energetically draw your hands towards you. Press your toes into the mat. So your legs are active here. Take a couple of breaths here. Inhale, lift your gaze a little bit without compressing the back of your neck. And then as you exhale, lower your chin towards your chest. Inhale, roll your right ear towards your right shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, left ear to left shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. So just continue to open up the neck a little bit here, going from side to side with your breath. Couple more breaths here. And then allow yourself to come all the way down onto your chest. Stack your palms one on top of the other. Elbows are pointed towards the outer edges of your mat. Allow your forehead to come down to your hands. And then bend your knees so the soles of your feet are pointed up towards the sky. And tick-tock your feet from one side to the other. So again, giving maybe a little bit more opening in the hips. And then release your legs back down to the mat. Draw your hands underneath your shoulders. Elbows are drawing in towards your ribs. On an inhale, press into your hands, lift up to cobra. Exhale, lower your chest back down. And then inhale, make your way into a downward facing dog. You can come through table. So hands are wide stance on your mat. Fingers are spread wide. Knees can be bent or straight here. On an inhale, lift your heels, look forward. And then on an exhale, you can step or jump forward to the top of your mat. Coming into a forward fold. On an inhale, slide your hands up your shins, lift up halfway to a flat back. Exhale, fold. You might have a slight bend in your knees here if you have anything going on in your low back. As you inhale, rise up halfway, lifting up. Exhale, fold. We'll do one more like that. On an inhale, lifting up to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead, come all the way up, allow your palms to meet. Exhale them down in front of your heart. Inhale, send your fingertips high again. This time, link your thumbs and overhead. And then as you exhale, side bend to the left. Couple of breaths here. And then with your next inhale, come back up to center. And then exhale, other side. Inhale back to center. And then exhale, you can just bring your hands down to your hips. From here, we're gonna take a big step back with the right foot. So we're gonna come into warrior one here. So for warrior one, your feet are on separate tracks, parallel tracks. Your right toes, your back toes are pointed out about 45 degrees. And then go ahead, keeping your hands on your hips, go ahead and bend your front knee. Just making sure that your knee is either above the ankle or behind it, just not in front of it. And then see if you can square your hips towards the front of your mat. They may not be perfectly square, that's okay. And then lift through the back, the arch of your back foot. So just bringing some weight into the outer edge of your back foot. If you need to adjust your stance, some people do a wider warrior one than I'm doing. Some people prefer a shorter stance. So you can make adjustments if you're feeling any pain in your knees or anything funky. And then with an inhale, sweep your arms along your ears so fingertips are reaching high, lift your gaze. Exhale. Inhale again, reach. And then as you exhale this time, straighten your front knee, allow your hands to come down next to your sides. So we're coming into a flow. So as you inhale, re-bend your front knee, sweep the fingertips along overhead alongside your ears. Exhale, straightening your front knee, arms come down to the sides. Inhaling, reaching up, lifting your gaze, warrior one. Exhaling, coming all the way up, hands come down. Just do a couple more rounds with your own breath rhythm. Finding a flow that works for you here. The next time your front knee is straightened and your hands are at your side, go ahead and clasp your elbows behind your back. So take a hold of opposite elbows behind your back. Inhale, lengthen the crown of your head to the sky. And then as you exhale, gently begin to fold forward over your front leg. So depending on how your front leg is feeling, you might not go very far like me, or your torso might be more parallel to the earth, or you might be drawing your head closer towards your legs. So just going based on what's, the sensations in your body. Draw your left hip back a little bit and just notice where you're feeling sensation. Where specifically in your left leg. You can allow your head to hang a little bit here. A couple more breaths. This is going to get into hamstrings, hip flexors, calves. And then with an inhale, begin to come all the way up. Bring your hands back to your hips. Lift the heel of your back foot. Bend your knee a little bit and then come forward. So we're back at the top of our mats. On an inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Allow the palms to meet. Exhale them down in front of your heart. And then bring your hands to your hips again. We're going to take the second side. So take a big step back with your left foot. Making sure your feet are on separate tracks. Your left toes are pointed out. Hands on hips, and then go ahead and bend through your right knee. See if you can square your hips towards the top of your mat, lifting through the arch of your back foot. And then sweep your arms alongside your ears, lift your gaze, warrior one. Breathe here. Inhale, reach through the fingertips. And then as you exhale, straighten your front knee, allow your hands to lower next to your sides. Inhale back into warrior one. Exhale, straightening, lowering. Continue like this a few more rounds on your own again, finding your own flow. Flowing in and out of warrior one. And then the next time you rise up and have that front knee straighten, go ahead and take a hold of opposite elbows. Try to take the opposite clasp of what you had before. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of your head, and then exhale, begin to fold forward over your front leg, only as far as feels safe in your body. Draw your right hip back. Allow your head, your neck to release a little bit. Noticing if this side feels different than the other, just for the point of noticing. And then with an inhale, make your way back up. Bring your hands to your hips. Lift your back heel, bend through your knees a little bit and step forward. Top of your mat. On an inhale, sweep the arms overhead. This time as you exhale, cactus your arms, allow your hips to shift forward a little bit, lift your gaze. Inhale, reach up again. And then as you exhale, fold forward, swan dive forward into a forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway to a flat back. Exhale, fold, plant your palms on either side of your feet, step back to plank position. Inhale, shift your weight forward a little bit, core is engaged. Exhale, lower down to your knees, belly, chest, or through chaturanga. I'm gonna go straight back to down dog because a cat has landed itself on the middle of my mat. Making your way to downward facing dog. Couple of breaths in down dog. And then with an inhale, lift your right foot up a little bit. So it can just be a few inches off the earth, or maybe so that that leg is parallel to the earth. Press the heel away from you. And then with your next exhale, draw your knee in towards your nose, tiger pose, rounding through the shoulders. Inhale, send the heel back again. Your leg could go higher this time if you want. Exhale, knee to nose, tiger pose. One more time, send the right leg back. Exhale, knee to nose, tiger pose. And then allow your right foot to come down in between your hands, taking your time, helping it along as much as you need. We're making our way into a high lunge here. So first start by lifting up, bringing your hands to your hips. And then engage through your glutes here. Draw your inner thighs towards each other. You may want to stay here, or you can lift your arms up towards the sky, coming into full high lunge. And then option here to link your thumbs again and side bend to the right if your balance is working for you today, and if this feels good for you. Inhale, come back to center. If you did the side bend, reach your fingertips high. And then as you exhale, we're gonna open up into a twist to the right. So my right hand is reaching back towards the back of my mat. My left hand reaching towards the top of my mat. Inhale, come back to center, reach the fingertips high overhead. And then as you exhale, bring your hands back to your hips. And then with control, we're going to lower the back knee down to a low lunge. So with control, allowing that left knee to come all the way down. And now we're in a low lunge. On an inhale, sweep the arms high overhead again. As you exhale, cactus your arms. You might lunge forward slightly, lifting your gaze. Inhale, press into your front foot, reach the fingertips overhead again. Exhale, cactus your arms. Slight lunge here. One more time, inhaling, reaching the fingertips high. Exhale, cactus. This time, as you inhale, reach your fingertips high, and then exhale, lower your hands down to frame your foot. And then we're gonna sit our hips back into half splits. So you're just sitting, you're walking your hands back about halfway down your mat. Your right toes are lifted. Getting lots of opportunities to stretch the muscles in our legs and our hips. Try to not totally collapse in the spine here. I usually use blocks for this, but you don't have to. Just trying to be mindful that your spine stays long. One more breath here. And then on an inhale, begin to rebend your front leg, bringing your hands to either side of that foot, and then make your way back to table and then into a plank position. So from plank, I should be able to fully cue it this time because the cat is gone. Inhale, lift your heels, shift your weight forward a little bit. And then as you exhale, lower down to your knees, belly, chest, or through chaturanga. Coming all the way down to your belly, inhaling, pressing your hands into the earth, lifting your chest, cobra. Exhale, pressing your way back to downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here. On an inhale, lift your left leg up so your leg might be parallel to the earth. Exhale, left knee to nose, round through the shoulders, tiger pose. Inhale, send your left leg back again. Maybe it goes a little higher, maybe not. Exhale, tiger pose. One more time, inhaling, pressing the leg back behind you. Exhale, knee to nose. And then allowing your left foot to come down in between your hands, taking your time to get there. When you're ready and you feel stable, begin to rise up to your high lunge, hands on hips. Squeezing through your glutes, engaging through your glutes, drawing your inner thighs towards each other. And then reaching your fingertips high overhead. You might lift your gaze a little bit here. Option to link your thumbs and side bend to the left. That feels good to you today. Inhale, come back upright. If you were side bending, reach the fingertips high. And then as you exhale, open twist to the left. Left fingertips pointed behind you. Right fingertips towards the top of your mat. And breathe. On an inhale, reach your fingertips back overhead. And then as you exhale, lower your hands to your hips. And then with control, lower down to your back knee, coming into low lunge. Taking your time. Once you're there, send your arms, your fingertips high again. Lift your gaze. Then exhale, slight lunge as your cactus, your arms out to the side. Lifting your gaze even more. Inhaling, fingertips high. Exhale, cactus. One more time, inhale to reach. Exhale, cactus your arms. With an inhale, reach your fingertips high again, and this time as you exhale, bring your hands down to frame your foot, and then begin to sit your hips back to half split. So I'm walking my hands back with me as my left toes raise. And breathe. Again, noticing if your spine is collapsing here. So the goal is not necessarily to get your forehead to your front leg, just to feel sensation while keeping length in the spine. Noticing again if this leg feels different than the other one, more or less open. And then as you're ready, begin to re-bend your front knee, walking your hands back up to frame your foot. Lift your back knee, coming into a lunge with your knee lifted, and then step forward into a forward fold, top of your mat. Inhale, lift up halfway to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead, allow your palms to meet. Exhale them down in front of your heart. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead again, lift your gaze. Exhale, cactus your arms. Inhale, reach the fingertips high again. Exhale, fold forward, swan diving into your forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Bring your fingertips to your mat and then take a step back with your right leg. So we're back in that lunge. Front left leg is bent. And then from here, we're going to make our way into warrior two. So with your hands still on your mat, you can bring your back heel down. And then we're looking for heel to arch alignment. So you can come up to warrior two with your arms at a T. And then just make sure that the heel of your front foot is in alignment with the arch of your back foot. Adjust your stance as needed. And then your front knee is bent, again, not going ahead of your ankle. On an inhale, reach your fingertips, on an inhale, lift your shoulders rather up to your ears, and exhale, roll them down your back. So fingertips are reaching in opposite directions, arms are at a T, gaze is over the left fingertips. Warrior two. Again, lifting through the arch of the back foot. And breathe. And go ahead and flip the palm of your left hand so it points to the sky. On an inhale, shift your weight forward a little bit, scoop the air, and then exhale, reverse your warrior. So your left hand is now overhead. My right hand is coming down my back leg, my right leg. My legs are still in warrior two stance. On an inhale, make your way back to warrior two with the arms at a T. And then as you exhale, lower your left forearm down to your left thigh. Sweep your fingertips of your right hand towards the front of your mat. So now we're in side angle. You might rotate your heart towards the sky a little bit here, actively reaching the fingertips of your right hand towards the front of your mat. And then on an inhale, we're gonna make our way back to warrior two. We're gonna do a flow here. Go ahead and flip the palm of your left hand. Inhale, scoop the air. Exhale, reverse your warrior. On an inhale, back to warrior two with your arms in a T. Exhale, lower your left forearm down, side angle. Inhale, back up, warrior two. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, side angle. Nice. And then from here, we're going to lower the right hand down to the next to our foot. Shift your right heel up. So you're in a lunge again. Your left hand has come down. And then make your way into plank. Inhale, shift your weight forward. Exhale, lower down, knees, belly, chest, or through chaturanga, if that's in your practice. Inhale, up to cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here to rest in dog. Even though it may not feel like a resting pose. On an inhale, lift your heels, look forward, step or hop forward to the front of your mat. Inhale, lift up halfway to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead, allow the palms to meet. Exhale them down in front of your heart. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead again. Exhale, cactus your arms. Inhale, reach the fingertips high. Exhale, swan dive forward into your forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. This time we're going to step the left foot back. Getting ready for that warrior two. Go ahead and spin your back heel down. Look for that heel to arch alignment as you begin to make your way up into warrior two, second side. Looking down at your right knee, noticing if it seems to be falling inward a little bit. You can even press it back towards the right. It's a tendency in this pose. And then just checking the position of your knee, looking for your heel to arch alignment. Inhale, lift your shoulders up to your ears. Exhale, roll them down your back. Reach your fingertips actively in opposite directions. Gaze is over your right fingers. Breathe here a couple of moments. Then go ahead and flip the palm of your right hand to the sky. Inhale, shift your weight forward, scoop the air. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Left hand comes down your back leg. Legs are strong here. Notice if your right knee fell inward a little bit. See if you can draw it out to the right. On an inhale, make your way back to warrior two. Take a breath. And then on your next exhale, lower your right forearm down to your right thigh. Sweep your left fingertips along your ear towards so they're headed towards the front of your mat. You might rotate your torso to the sky a little bit here. And then we'll begin the flow. So on an inhale, make your way back to warrior two. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, back to warrior two. Exhale, reverse. Inhale, warrior. Exhale, side angle. You can do this one more time with your own breath. Meeting in side angle. Last couple of breaths here. And And then with an exhale, allow your left hand to come down to your mat. Make your way into a lunge and then step back to plank. Flowing through a vinyasa here with chaturanga or knees, belly, chest, or making your way directly back to downward facing dog. Up to you. Few breaths in downward facing dog. And then lower down to your knees as you're ready for child's pose. So you can either take the child's pose with the wide knees that we did at the beginning, or if you'd like to take embryo, you can allow your knees to come together, sitting your hips back. Arms can be reaching back towards your feet. Whatever feels best to you. Allow yourself a few moments to rest here. Noticing the breath moving through your body, the beating of your heart. All these things that happen without any effort from us. You might rock your head from side to side, massaging your forehead. Perhaps bringing back to mind whatever you identified that you're grateful for today. Few more breaths here in child's. And we're going to begin to transition onto our backs. So beginning to raise up your torso, pressing up with your hands, and then making your way in your own time, in your own way to your seat, and then lowering down to your back. Drawing your knees in towards your chest, so you can either let them fall open if that feels good and rock from side to side. Drawing your knees towards your armpits, one knee at a time, or you can have your knees together and perhaps circle your knees one direction and then the other. So just pay attention to what your body wants and just do what feels good to you. And we're getting ready for Savasana. So if there's any final movements that you'd like to take, might be a happy baby with the soles of your feet towards the sky, rocking from side to side, or anything that you'd like to do that you feel drawn to do. This is your chance before we settle into Savasana, to our final resting pose for this class. And whenever you're done and whenever you're ready in your own time, you can make your way into comfortable supine position. Letting your legs be heavy on your mat, your arms can be at your sides, or if you'd like a little bit of shoulder sensation, you can cactus your arms overhead. or place your hands on your belly to feel your breath and reconnect whenever you'd like. And Shavasana is our opportunity for our bodies to fully incorporate the benefits of the physical asana practice. So take this time, these last few moments, to allow yourself to be fully present and to relax.